and welcome back to KXAN Plus. If you're watching us live, happy Sunday. I'm your host, Esmeralda Zamora, and today we have our Tommy's travel forecast where we're going to take a look at the big picture of what the forecast is looking like. And today, it looks like we're talking a lot about the tropics, right, Tommy?
A lot of stuff to talk about in the tropics, Esme. We have these two systems that have been in the forecast for the past few days. So a lot of huge up in the air scenarios that we've been diving into here at the First Warning Weather Center. And for those friends and family on the southeast U.S. coast, you need to be watching this forecast really closely.
Lately, we've been doing our Tommy's travel forecast, and the tropics have been very quiet. Why did
That's
they
right.
just get so noisy all of a sudden?
Great question. Well, we have till the end of November climatologically for storms to develop. That's when hurricane season ends as we wrap up November. So we still have a few more weeks of the tropic season. Right now, we have a super complex forecast. We have, as of this morning, Tropical Storm Imelda, which is just a cluster of some showers and storms down in the Bahamas, but will eventually try to work its way further north. The big question is, will Imelda continue to push north, or will it steer out to sea? It will steer out to sea. That's the latest trend, we think, from Umberto. And Umberto, if you look to the other side of the map there, is a major Category 4 hurricane. Look at that eye wall.
It's so big. Yeah, it looks huge. Way bigger than Imelda.
It's a textbook, right? Imelda looks like just a few showers and storms. Umberto looks like a beast. So the steering mechanisms of these two storms could determine the impacts on the immediate coastline for Georgia and the Carolinas themselves. So it all depends on a few different key mechanisms here that we're going to be watching.
So correct me if I'm wrong, Imelda is our 9th named storm of the season, and then that makes the other one the 10th, right?
Let's see, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. That would be 8, Imelda 9. So this is our 8th and 9th. I'm only saying that to know what I and H are in the alphabet. I have to go through personally. That was I had to make sure because I was about to say yes, and I'm like, wait, let's count.
Let's count it.
But yeah, I mean, we're on par for a fairly average season right now, and I think these two storms had a lot of attention, especially Imelda, because some of the initial forecasts had this steering into the Carolinas. This is the tropical steering setup as of now. So Imelda, slightly slower to form than anticipated, will get pulled from Umberto. Also, Umberto is a little stronger than the original forecast by the National Hurricane Center. All of that will steer around the high pressure, but that upper level low that sits over the deep south, that was the key component to potentially bring in Imelda, which would cause some heavy rain, that's coastal flooding, and some gusty winds on the immediate U.S. southeast coast.
Well, I have a lot of questions because lately I've been scrolling TikTok and I keep seeing these live videos of people saying Imelda's coming to Florida or hitting the coast. Why are people saying that, and why is it not happening?
Well, what the social media world likes to do is they like to cherry pick specific computer model runs. Matter of fact, when you play these spaghetti plots, which show each potential computer model's output of where this storm is heading, you'll notice that they all steer north and then they all steer east. We're seeing a higher confidence. This will track away from Florida, away from Georgia and the Carolinas. Occasionally, there will be this one computer model run before the storm hasn't even formed yet. So last Thursday, Friday, that put something, let's say, into Florida, let's say into South Carolina, North Carolina. And people will specifically take those computer model runs and say, this is happening. We need to look at the giant consensus here, folks, and that is that this storm is going to move north, but track further east, get grabbed by Umberto, because Umberto was a Category 5 earlier this weekend, still a major Category 4 hurricane, winds at 130 miles per hour.
Wow. And for some of our viewers who don't know what these spaghetti models are, these are all different computers that you guys or meteorologists read to determine what the forecast for whatever it is you're looking at is going to be. But how do you decide which spaghetti model you're going to pick out of all of them?
Yeah, excellent question. Well, we look for the consensus, right? Where that center of certainty is. The closer the spaghetti plots, the higher confidence that that track will be a little bit closer aligned. So let's look at an example here. Closer to the Bahamas, there's about 100 to 115 miles of potential wiggle room for Imelda. Further up a few days later, all of a sudden, now we're talking 250 miles of uncertainty. By the middle half of the week, Imelda up to 300, 400 miles of uncertainty. So the closer the spaghetti plots are, the higher confidence we have as meteorologists to say this is where that track is. If you recall from a few days ago, some of those spaghetti plots were moving up north, slamming into Georgia or the South Carolina or North Carolina, and there was about 300, 400, 500 miles of distribution of where Imelda could go. But now we're beginning to see Imelda continue to have that tighter and higher confidence. It's going to get basically grabbed onto by Umberto and steered around that high pressure out to sea from the continental United States. I will say, though, Bermuda could be getting hit with two different storms, both Umberto and Imelda, which is a concerning trend, right?
So is there a possibility that Umberto and Imelda are going to turn into one storm, or are they just going to like meet in the middle? How is that working?
Excellent question. They're not going to absorb and become one, but they could tap into each other's energy. You'll see with the clouds and radar here, we'll see Umberto continue to keep its strength. This high-resolution computer model has a well-circulated eye for Umberto, showing its major hurricane status into Monday and Tuesday. And Imelda starting to show signs of life by Monday to Tuesday itself. I'm pausing it right here early Tuesday because I'll draw an arrow and show you.
They both have that little swirl.
The rain bands are touching. They both have the swirl, absolutely. And they're sort of feeding into each other. Umberto eventually takes all of that energy from Imelda and steers it and pulls it away. Could still possibly see some heavy rain and gusty winds on the immediate coastline for South Carolina and Georgia. But steering this out to sea, of course, besides Bermuda, is the most likely scenario as of now.
So Umberto is pretty much pulling Imelda with them all the way up out to sea.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. So we're going to go back again. So toward Monday afternoon, they're both kind of lined up in the same latitude.
Yeah.
Now, I will say if Imelda was a little bit higher up in position, maybe closer, 100 miles north, it was originally on par to kind of outpace Umberto. And if that were to happen, then Umberto couldn't steer it. But because Imelda formed a little bit slower, it's going to basically take the storm itself and kind of yank it away. I spent a year in Savannah. I have some friends there and basically like family, and I was texting them and they were texting me about these questions. And this has been a fantastic trend because we were looking at the original first cone of uncertainty, had places like Myrtle Beach and Charleston in that cone. And now the cone is completely steered away from the coastline itself. Let me see if I can try to find the cone because it's such a good change in the positive direction. And you brought up the point, a lot of people on social media are trying to have some sort of
landfall estimation or
exactly, but we're not seeing that, right? What we're seeing is a best case scenario where Imelda gets pulled by Umberto and steered further left. Now, we'll see some wiggle room and adjustments, but a better consensus than what we had even just 2 days ago.
Wow. So we're saying right now, so far it looks like Umberto or Imelda are not going to make landfall, but does that mean that there's going to be no rain coming into those coastal cities? What is the impacts that we may see on the coast?
Yeah, fantastic question, Esme. We will still see some outer bands of Imelda bring some heavy rainfall to the coastline. Starting Monday, some of those yellows and reds, Charleston, South Carolina there, northeast portions of the state into North Carolina, the Outer Banks, even coastal Georgia could be seeing some slow-moving rain bands. And these slow-moving rain bands can set up for some flash flooding. Matter of fact, the Weather Prediction Center is already highlighting that yellow you see from Charleston up toward Myrtle Beach and the Outer Banks, a level 2 out of 4 flood threat for Monday itself. And then for Tuesday, that's when it extends still. Level 2 out of 4 continues for those same places. So I do expect some flooding, completely different situation from a few days ago. A few days ago, some of the computer models, Esme, had about 10 to 15 inches plus of rain for some of these cities like Myrtle Beach. And now I'm thinking
it's getting a little easier.
It's getting a little easier, and I'm thinking maybe 2 to 4 inches, if not more. So there is no legend for this. So I want to tell you what the colors mean. If you're colorblind, I do apologize. The blue is an inch or more. The purple, the red is 2 to 3 inches. The bright yellow in the middle of the ocean in that track, that's actually where the heaviest rain is going to fall. But notice that steers away from land. It's not the orange and yellow isn't directly over land. So what that means is, we could see maybe 3-4 inches of rain at Myrtle Beach on Charleston itself, but they can handle that.
Yeah.
We used to get storms in Savannah all the time. Every day, those sea breeze showers and storms. I remember sitting outside and the storm would come in. It would dump about 5 inches of rain, but it's so swampy, it just absorbs it. And it doesn't really flood as much. Flash flooding is pretty rare in at least the coastal Georgia and South Carolina area. So we could see some flash flooding, certainly. We have the level 2 out of 4 flood threat there. Not as significant and destructive as we once thought, which is great.
Do you foresee any issues with anyone who has plans traveling into these areas?
Absolutely.
By plane, by car?
Excellent question. The gusts will be strong as we play this out here through Tuesday itself. We have gusts on the immediate coastline between around 30, 35, and 40 miles per hour at times. Flying into Savannah could be a little bit difficult Tuesday, but notice how quickly Imelda kind of pulls away and moves further east, and when it does that, all of a sudden, things are looking much more manageable and tolerable. If you're flying to Bermuda, for your friends and family in Bermuda, I think Umberto will make impact in the next 2 to 3 days, and then Thursday into Friday, Imelda could also bring a major hurricane or a hurricane to that area. That's where I have growing concern for our friends over there at Bermuda, but
And that's until midweek, Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday for Bermuda. Beyond that, and we'll see some adjustments for Imelda. Obviously, this is still several days out. Umberto is kind of the more definitive track of where the storm could go. I want to see if we can even pick up where Bermuda is on the spaghetti plots. It's such a little tiny island. There's Bermuda.
There it is. It's right at the top, right underneath tracks.
I wish that.
Let me see if I can pull it up bigger.
Yeah. Okay. So I drew an arrow to where Bermuda is.
There it is.
Umberto is steering to the left of Bermuda. Matter of fact, actually, it's so far away, which is a good thing to see.
Could it possibly miss it?
The center looks like it could miss for now. 200 miles away, we could still see some outer rain bands. So I think, honestly, this is good so far for Bermuda. But as it curves a little bit
Imelda
further,
goes directly.
Right.
Yeah.
Imelda could completely cross over. Here's where I think things could get good for Bermuda, though, is when a storm moves over an area. There's this thing called upwelling where all the cold water comes to the surface, which means other storms behind the storm with the upwelling won't be able to tap into the energy of the warm ocean water. In English, for y'all, once Umberto moves over that water, it's not going to be favorable for Imelda to keep that same strength and consistency. So the spaghetti plots show a potential impact in Bermuda itself from Imelda. Will it keep its same composure and intensity? It's up in the air right now, several days away. As we've shown through the next at least 2 to 3 days, we have higher confidence this will be tracking east. Imelda will be tracking a little bit east, not making direct landfall, from Umberto, absorbing some of that energy and steering it away from the upper level low over the deep south. Could that mean, though, some heavy rain, gusty winds, and coastal flooding for Bermuda? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So we will really watch this closely because we know that Bermuda in the early fall is a popular destination spot.
Yeah. Earlier, before we started this live stream, you were talking about monsoon storms. What are those?
Yeah, monsoon is a buzzword meteorologists use. It's a term we forecast for in the Southwest. Our own Kristen Curry's was in Albuquerque for a few years, and she always says, anytime monsoons, they can get going, and these little pop-up showers and storms can pack a punch. Today, the storm center has that level 1 out of 5 in the dark green for places like El Paso and Albuquerque.
Wow, close to home.
A little closer to home. And it's crazy because we were just talking right before the show, and I said to you, I'm like, there's really not a lot to talk about in Austin.
Not here.
Sometimes our whole travel forecast is Dallas, Houston, Austin, San Antonio based. Now it's Bahama, Bermuda, because it's sunny.
Opposite sides of us.
Right. And our forecast tonight, you'll see, a spoiler alert, the 7 days kind of the same every single day.
We've had some cool temperatures lately, so we can't really complain about that much.
And, I woke up in Dallas this morning. It was like upper 50s, so
wow.
It was crisp. I think 60s here for the next few nights. Hey, I'm certainly not complaining. We've had last year in October we had a triple digit day. low 90s, we can tolerate that in Central Texas.
Definitely.
But there is this wind and hail threat that continues today for El Paso and Albuquerque, and then of course the eastern seaboard from some of those tropical bands.
When you say wind threat, how fast is the wind hitting?
Yeah, 58 miles per hour or greater is the severe thunderstorm criteria. And the high resolution computer model here is placing a few of these strong showers and storms developing right off the mountains over places in New Mexico and western Texas, walking you through the rest of the afternoon and evening hours. This will wind down overnight tonight, but these little quick storms can quickly dump 2-3 inches of rain, even some hail up to quarter sized, and even for Monday, tomorrow, non-severe, but some thunder and some beneficial rain out toward the Four Corners and western Texas certainly can't be ruled out.
Well, that is making me very jealous because I wish we had that rain here in Central Texas.
Yeah, absolutely. I wish I had a crystal ball I could say we're going to get rain at this time. October is our second wettest climatological month.
Is it expected to be that way this year?
Beyond 7 days, it's just kind of a gamble. I anticipate hopefully a change of pattern, but for now it's just the same high pressure in place right overhead, keeping us warm. Not oppressive though. Normal high is 88, so 91, 92 every single day. It's not scorching.
It's better than 105. That's
better
for sure.
Better than 105. A good 7 out of 10 weather-wise. I think today, tomorrow, maybe even 8 out of 10. A lot of people kind of coming in for football and things like that. Although the Longhorns don't play till November, but kind of a weird schedule there.
Possibility to continue to see these low temperatures during our nights and our mornings?
Yeah, and it's good news too. I was thinking I think is ACL next weekend?
It is.
Are you going to ACL?
I'm going the second weekend for a couple days.
Second weekend?
Yeah.
Is there an artist you're looking forward to seeing?
I'm looking forward to seeing Fade. Do you know who that is?
I'm so lame. I don't know any artist.
And I was looking forward to seeing Doja Cat, but she canceled.
Doja Cat canceled?
Yeah.
Bummer. Is Chris Stapleton performing?
I don't remember.
I don't know. I think he's country. Someone's going to say yes or no in the chat.
Let us know in the chat, yeah.
Yeah, let us know, chat. But things are overall...
So temperatures for ACL, how are they looking?
The same as today, I think. The second weekend we'll see. Last year it was so dang hot that for our own Freddie Vela was texting me, and he was going to pass out from the heat.
He was like, Tommy, come pick me up. I'm going to pass out.
Yeah, he wanted me to pick him up, and I was like, no thanks, dude. I ain't driving over to that mess, but no, I'm not going to ACL. I looked at some of the ticket prices, and I was like, I don't really know any of these artists too well, but I pulled the Austonian just while we chat about it, because... That's the view.
That's what we're looking at today. Normally all the ACLs I've been to, it's been rainy or it's been humid and muddy. So I'm excited to have a dry ACL this year.
I guess this is a win then. Mm-hmm. Low 90s, we'll take that.
Yeah, we'll take that.
The heat indices when it's 105 to 110, like last year, disgusting.
Yeah.
I mean, this is...
And I don't show up at 12 p.m. or 1 p.m. when I know it's going to be extremely hot. I wait until the evening.
Where I was
4 or 5.
Yesterday, I was at the State Fair. Have you ever been to it?
In Dallas?
Yeah,
Is it already started?
It started on Friday.
Wow, how was it?
It was good. I saw Big Tex for the first time.
Nice.
Yeah, he's that giant statue.
He's that giant statue.
Was statue mannequin?
I don't know. I think it's made out of plastic. I think I've seen them build it.
Because it didn't Big Tex burn down. I think Big Tex burned down a few years ago.
I don't know.
It's a new Big Tex. But he talks and he blinks, which was kind of scary.
That's kind of scary.
Kind of threw me off. But the food was good. I had a corn dog and they had fried lemonade.
Fried lemonade?
Yeah, I said no thank you.
I think that they need to stop frying things at these fairs.
There's a limit to the madness, and I probably would have called out sick if I had fried lemonade, so I'm glad I'm here for that.
Was that your first Texas fair?
Yeah.
Wow.
In New England, we have these fall fairs that are kind of like those stereotypical Hallmark movie with the leaves and pumpkins and Christmas trees.
Well, that sounds like fun.
It is fun and cold. This was a hot version of that.
It's
Although
Texas.
They had auto shows. Someone tried to sell me a hot tub. I'm like, are you kidding? Step aside.
You never know what you're going to see at a Texas State Fair.
That's Texas State Fair for you. But it was a blast. The food was 10 out of 10.
I bet. The food is always amazing in Texas.
So
well, your article that is published on our website right now is Tommy's Travel Forecast article that you do every Sunday. What is different in this week's?
Yeah, so this is, of course, the tropic focus. If you have questions or you want to see another graphic and kind of the mindset behind my forecast, explaining the forecast as well. Make sure for that. We just go a little more in depth in writing. Some people prefer writing to watching a video, so that's why we have it. Of course, you can find that KXAN.com/weather under weather blogs. They're also on KXAN.com on the homepage. And then this video, right? YouTube, Facebook will have a link. Of course, KXAN Plus.
Yeah, streaming
Plug in
on
KXAN Plus. Yeah. So
download our free streaming app, KXAN Plus. For anyone who is enjoying our Tommy's Travel Forecast, this is something that we do every Sunday where we take a big picture look at what the forecast is looking like all around the map. And are you open to any questions from your viewers if they have any questions, and how can they send those to you?
Yeah. We'll do my email, which is thomas.house@kxan.com. Want to send an email there, of course, feedback@kxan.com, or the report it. Just, this is a changing process. The difference between me and the other KXAN pluses from the First Warning Weather team is everyone kind of has like a specific
niche
beat.
Yeah.
Mine changes every single week. So last Sunday when we sat down, we weren't even discussing Imelda.
There was nothing
Umberto.
in the tropics.
There was like a little wave we were watching, which is now Umberto, but the Imelda wave didn't even pop up yet. I remember saying there's a possibility we could get something closer to home, but Gulf's been quiet. Maybe even, I don't want to speak things into existence, but a week from now there could be another storm. So this will change constantly. So with that comes the ups and downs, but hopefully smooth travel pun there, smooth landing.
Smooth flight.
Hopefully things are going well.
So. Well, when does hurricane season end? So we know when we'll stop talking about the tropics.
end of November, and then it's winter storm time. So I'm pumped. We already have some snow in the Rockies. So
yeah, but not much snow here at home.
I'll tell you, did you know we got over 5 inches of snow once in November in Austin?
Wow.
It's the 1930s, but
not close to any time that
we
we've
have
been
had
in
flakes
Austin
before, more recently in the past like 20, 30 years. But
yeah, last year we had a little bit of snow, but it wasn't too crazy.
February,
right?
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun to cover.
Is that something that is normal where you're from, February snow?
Oh, yeah, we average like 40. My college averaged like 55, 60 inches of snow per year. So we would get blasted with snow a lot, where like 8 inches of snow wasn't a snow day, which was kind of crazy. We would like trek across campus. I remember because I was in charge of the weather instrument. I would have to climb to the roof with stairs.
In the snow?
Well, it was indoor stairs, thankfully. But I got to the top and open up the roof, and I had to walk in the snow out to the sensor, record how much snow it is, and then I would have to melt the snow to a liquid ratio, use an equation to compute it into how much water that is versus the snow, the snow depth ratio there for those who know. And then I had to log in, temperatures and stuff like that. So, yeah. Busy.
Sounds like fun.
I love it, though. I love the snow. It's my favorite.
Yeah, I wish we got it more here, but oh well.
Just some pretty flakes, no ice.
Yeah, well, today, you can see right now what it's looking like. Very sunny out here in Austin.
Kind of the same for a while.
Well, thank you so much for joining me, Tommy, and we'll see you next Sunday.
Yeah, thank you, Esme.